Subject: NSA Employees Security Manual Lines, 980. Security Guidelines. This handbook is designed to introduce you to some of the basic security principles and procedures with which all NSA employees must comply. It highlights some of your security responsibilities, and provides guidelines for answering questions you may be asked concerning your association with this agency. Although you will be busy during the forthcoming weeks learning your job, meeting coworkers, and becoming accustomed to a new work environment, you are urged to become familiar with the security information contained in this handbook. Please note that a listing of telephone numbers is provided at the end of this handbook should you have any questions or concerns. Introduction. In joining NSA, you have been given an opportunity to participate in the activities of one of the most important intelligence organizations of the United States government. At the same time, you have also assumed a trust which carries with it a most important individual responsibility: the safeguarding of sensitive information vital to the security of our nation. While it is impossible to estimate in actual dollars and cents the value of the work being conducted by this agency, the information to which you will have access at NSA is without question critically important to the defense of the United States. Since this information may be useful only if it is kept secret, it requires a very special measure of protection. The specific nature of this protection is set forth in various agency security regulations and directives. The total NSA security program, however, extends beyond these regulations. It is based upon the concept that security begins as a state of mind. The program is designed to develop an appreciation of the need to protect information vital to the national defense, and to foster the development of a level of awareness which will make security more than routine compliance with regulations. At times, security practices and procedures cause personal inconvenience. They take time and effort, and on occasion may make it necessary for you to voluntarily forego some of your usual personal prerogatives. But your compensation for the inconvenience is the knowledge that the work you are accomplishing at NSA, within a framework of sound security practices, contributes significantly to the defense and continued security of the United States of America. I extend to you my very best wishes as you enter upon your chosen career or assignment with NSA. Philip T. Pease, Director of Security. Initial security responsibilities. Anonymity. Perhaps one of the first security practices with which new NSA personnel should become acquainted is the practice of anonymity. In an open society such as ours, this practice is necessary because information which is generally available to the public is available also to hostile intelligence. Therefore, the agency mission is best accomplished apart from public attention. Basically, anonymity means that NSA personnel are encouraged not to draw attention to themselves nor to their association with this agency. NSA personnel are also cautioned neither to confirm nor deny any specific questions about NSA activities directed to them by individuals not affiliated with the agency. The ramifications of the practice of anonymity are rather far-reaching, and its success depends on the cooperation of all agency personnel. Described below you will find some examples of situations that you may encounter concerning your employment and how you should cope with them. Beyond the situations cited, your judgment and discretion will become the deciding factors in how you respond to questions about your employment. Answering questions about your employment. Certainly, you may tell your family and friends that you are employed at or assigned to the National Security Agency. There is no valid reason to deny them this information. However, you may not disclose to them any information concerning specific aspects of the agency's mission, activities, and organization. You should also ask them not to publicize your association with NSA. Should strangers or casual acquaintances question you about your place of employment, an appropriate reply would be that you work for the Department of Defense. If questioned further as to where you are employed within the Department of Defense, you may reply, NSA. When you inform someone that you work for NSA, or the Department of Defense, you may expect that the next question will be, what do you do? It is a good idea to anticipate this question and to formulate an appropriate answer. Do not act mysteriously about your employment, as that would only succeed in drawing more attention to yourself. If you are employed as a secretary, engineer, computer scientist, or in a clerical, administrative, technical, or other capacity identifiable by a general title which in no way indicates how your talents are being applied to the mission of the agency, it is suggested that you state this general title. If you are employed as a linguist, you may say that you are a linguist, if necessary. However, you should not indicate the specific languages with which you are involved. The use of service specialty titles which tend to suggest or reveal the nature of the agency's mission or specific aspects of their work. These professional titles, such as cryptanalyst, signals collection officer, and intelligence research analyst, if given verbatim to an outsider, would likely generate further questions which may touch upon the classified aspects of your work. Therefore, in conversation with outsiders, it is suggested that such job titles be generalized. For example, you might indicate that you are a research analyst. You may not, however, discuss the specific nature of your analytic work. Answering questions about your agency training. During your career or assignment at NSA, there is a good chance that you will receive some type of job-related training. In many instances the nature of the training is not classified. However, in some situations the specialized training you receive will relate directly to sensitive agency functions. In such cases, the nature of this training may not be discussed with persons outside of this agency. If your training at the agency includes language training, your explanation for the source of your linguistic knowledge should be that you obtained it while working for the Department of Defense. You should not draw undue attention to your language abilities, and you may not discuss how you apply your language skill at the agency. If you are considering part-time employment which requires the use of language or technical skills similar to those required for the performance of your NSA-assigned duties, you must report, in advance, the anticipated part-time work through your Staff Security Officer, SSO, to the Office of Securities Clearance Division, M55. Verifying your employment. On occasion, personnel must provide information concerning their employment to credit institutions in connection with various types of applications for credit. In such situations you may state, if you are a civilian employee, that you are employed by NSA and indicate your pay grade or salary. Once again, generalize your job title. If any further information is desired by persons or firms with whom you may be dealing, instruct them to request such information by correspondence addressed to Director of Civilian Personnel, National Security Agency, Fort George G. Meade, Maryland 207556000. Military personnel should use their support group designator and address when indicating their current assignment. If you contemplate leaving NSA for employment elsewhere, you may be required to submit resume, job application, or to participate in extensive employment interviews. In such circumstances, you should have your resume reviewed by the Classification Advisory Officer, CAO, assigned to your organization. Your CAO will ensure that any classified operational details of your duties have been excluded and will provide you with an unclassified job description. Should you leave the agency before preparing such a resume, you may develop one and send it by registered mail to the NSA/CSS Information Policy Division, Q43, for review. Remember, your obligation to protect sensitive agency information extends beyond your employment at NSA. The agency and public news media. Greater than from time to time you may find that the agency is the topic of reports or articles appearing in public news media, newspapers, magazines, books, radio and TV. The NSA/CSS Information Policy Division, Q43, represents the agency in matters involving the press and other media. This office serves at the agency's official media center and is the director's liaison office for public relations, both in the community and with other government agencies. The Information Policy Division must approve the release of all information for and about NSA, its mission, activities, and personnel. In order to protect the aspects of agency operations, NSA personnel must refrain from either confirming or denying any information concerning the agency or its activities which may appear in the public media. If you are asked about the activities of NSA, the best response is no comment. You should notify Q43 of the attempted inquiry. For the most part, public references to NSA are based upon educated guesses. The agency does not normally make a practice of issuing public statements about its activities. General responsibilities. Espionage and terrorism. During your security indoctrination and throughout your NSA career you will become increasingly aware of the espionage and terrorist threat to the United States. Your vigilance is the best single defense in protecting NSA information, operations, facilities and people. Any information that comes to your attention that suggests to you the existence of, or potential for, espionage or terrorism against the U.S. or its allies must be promptly reported by you to the Office of Security. There should be no doubt in your mind about the reality of the threats. You are now affiliated with the most sensitive agency in government and are expected to exercise vigilance and common sense to protect NSA against these threats. Classification. Originators of correspondence, communications, equipment, or documents within the agency are responsible for ensuring that the proper classification, downgrading information and, when appropriate, proper caveat notations are assigned to such material. This includes any handwritten notes which contain classified information. The three levels of classification are confidential, secret and top secret. The NSA classification manual should be used as guidance in determining proper classification. If after review of this document you need assistance, contact the Classification Advisory Officer, CAO, assigned to your organization, or the Information Policy Division, Q43. Need to know. Classified information is disseminated only on a strict need-to-know basis. The need-to-know policy means that classified information will be disseminated only to those individuals who, in addition to possessing a proper clearance, have a requirement to know this information in order to perform their official duties. Need to know. No person is entitled to classified information solely by virtue of office, position, rank, or security clearance. All NSA personnel have the responsibility to assert the need-to-know policy as part of their responsibility to protect sensitive information. Determination of need-to-know is a supervisory responsibility. This means that if there is any doubt in your mind as to an individual's need to know, you should always check with your supervisor before releasing any classified material under your control. For official use only. Separate from classified information is information or material marked for official use only, such as this handbook. This designation is used to identify that official information or material which, although unclassified, is exempt from the requirement for public disclosure of information concerning government activities and which, for a significant reason, should not be given general circulation. Each holder of for official use only information or material is authorized to disclose such information or material to persons in other departments or agencies of the executive and judicial branches when it is determined that the information or material is required to carry out a government function. The recipient must be advised that the information or material is not to be disclosed to the general public. Material which bears the for official use only caveat does not come under the regulations governing the protection of classified information. The unauthorized disclosure of information marked for official use only does not constitute an unauthorized disclosure of classified defense information. However, Department of Defense and NSA regulations prohibit the unauthorized disclosure of information designated for official use only. Appropriate administrative action will be taken to determine responsibility and to apply corrective and/or disciplinary measures in cases of unauthorized disclosure of information which bears the for official use only caveat. Reasonable care must be exercised in limiting the dissemination of for official use only information. While you may take this handbook home for further study, remember that it does contain for official use only information which should be protected. Pre-publication review. All NSA personnel, employees, military assignees, and contractors, must submit for review